guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So we're going to take another look at the Digitech Trio Band Creator. This is the first version of the Trio or Trio, however you want to pronounce it. They do have the combo looper version as well, which does seem to have a lot more benefits to it over this one. But hey, you gotta start somewhere, right? And this is where they came out with this one. And I was just looking for something simple and basic that could hopefully follow some rhythms for songs that I've written, and then this way I can get a much better beat and save me a lot of time screwing around with my Beat Buddy to try and find a suitable beat. However, I still may go into the Beat Buddy as well and see if I can get something even better, which is kind of nice to have both of them. So if you really can't deal with a particular song you're trying to get out of this thing, you do have the option of the Beat Buddy. And of course there's many other drum type machines out there as well that can give you beats. But I like the Beat Buddy because it's real band, drums and everything. This one is, well, I wouldn't say it's real drummers, but it's pretty decent, you know. It's definitely a lot better than like the Boss RC3 and the Nux Loop Core as far as the drum beats go. Now you do have different genres and styles. You've got a tempo control, you've got control over the bass player as well as drums. So you get the benefit of a bass guitar player in this, that you can, add more of them or take away, depending on how you want to do things. Now there's two outputs on this thing, one of being which is for a guitar amp, the other one goes to a mixer. Now there's also a USB input on this pedal, which is for doing like firmware updates. But anyways, so I'm going into my Boss Katana amp, and it's not bad. I personally and honestly do prefer going into the mixing board and doing everything through there, because then I can get more output from the pedal for drums that I want to be able to hear, so I can balance my mix out better. If you're going to try and balance a mix going through a guitar amp, it's going to be a little bit tricky because you're going to have to adjust the levels of your pedals. And you got to watch too about the noise level that some pedals can put out, because it'll automatically kick you into the learn mode before you even strike a chord. And the whole idea about this is, you push and hold, that arms the pedal, slow blink. On a fast blink, it's ready. So as soon as you hit that first chord, boom, it's right there. So let's try something here. Okay, now we'll play it back. Now for me that's a little on the sluggy side, but we can up the tempo. It doesn't sound right. Okay? That's more like it. That's more what I'm looking for. Right, now that's on the country rhythm. So if we try that on, say, rock. Definitely not a rock genre. Now this brings me to our next point. You have to figure out, of course, what genre your song is done in that you're trying to accomplish this with. For those of us who write our own songs, we should have a pretty good idea what genre they're in, but not always. Okay, there's no rocket scientist to it all. You know, you can go through them and try, say, pop. Definitely not going to happen. So if we go back to that country one, now you notice things change because it changes each time. Now see, that's a different beat again, right? That's better. That's much better. So it's going to be as consistent as you are on your speed and chord changes when it learns what you're trying to teach it. So, you know, there's not 100% consistency there. So to rely on this thing for gigging, I probably wouldn't. You know, but you can program up to 3 parts too. You know, you've got your main verse, and then you got your bridge, and then your chorus. You can have them all separate, or you get a bridge and chorus on the second, and just use 2 of them, whichever you want to do. However, you know, you do have to look at the fact that, you know, you are programming this thing for each song, you know. So let's go back and play this. So that's no drums. That's full drum. Bass player. So you might want to reduce the amount on the drums as well as the bass. The bass player, you want to stick him more in the background anyway, so you got to try and balance your mix out regardless. Now, a couple of other things I've noticed about this pedal as I've been playing with it is that I've had to dial back my main pedals. So if we go and kick on our distortion pedal here, now, there's a bit of noise, which, you know, that's standard stuff that happens. We all know when you kick pedals on. Now, if your pedal is set right, this will stay flashing and be ready. Country beat with rock, love it. Now, if your pedal happens to be kicked up a little too high for its level output, you automatically get kicked in to learn that fast because there's too much noise on the line. So let's dial the volume back to, say, about 10 o'clock on the Golden Brownie. That's good. So let's just slowly burn it up. Oh, didn't get a chance to do that. So I'm about halfway when it kicked it on. So I gotta bring that back a little further. That looks good. Well, almost did. Kick it back a little further. Now this is where it becomes a problem. Because if you have to turn your pedal back too far, then you're going to degrade the quality of your sound, definitely. So let's try moving the drive back, and then move the volume up to half. Yeah, as soon as I touch the strings. So, if you have pedals that have noise on them, you're going to have to cure that with probably a noise gate. Would be very handy for that. It would definitely kill it off, so you can still drive your pedals. Now, the other thing you're going to have to watch is the output level of your pedals. So, and not just for the recording purposes, but also playback. So, let's put things where I normally have them. I'm sure you got the idea of that right away. My guitar is way louder than the drum machine. So if I turn the drum machine up full blast, now I have to turn the pedal down, or this down. So I'm just not getting that tone out of there that I'm after. And then we get to the next problem, and that's raising the volume up on your amp, you know, to get a little bit more so you can compensate more to try and get things louder again. It's going to mean a lot of reorganizing of your pedals for their volume outputs. Now, volume output or level output control on a pedal not just affects how much it can drive into your amp for increased output and that tone, it controls that tone along with your drive circuit on your pedal. Okay, so your gain, your sustain, whatever the heck it happens to be for your main control, your main level output does control a lot of that tonal range. So, you know, you're going to have to find that happy medium where it's going to work with this. Which is one reason why I totally adore the Beat Buddy, because the Beat Buddy, it's not going to be as subjective as this thing. You know, it won't have these problems because of the fact that Beat Buddy is pre-programmed stuff, or you can program stuff into it or download stuff, whatever you want to do. Whereas this thing, it's a learning device, okay? And it does have built-in rhythms that it can do of its own. So if we just, you know, go and we blank the memory on this thing. So we're going to hold down these two buttons and blank it out. So this is formatting the pedal so that it clears all the crap you did. And once this has reached 12, then you unplug it and plug it back in to reset everything. Okay, so now you have just what is in the pedal. Now that does give you some extra output, but not a lot, okay? Now, when you program your own stuff into this, where you're playing and teaching it, it'll actually choose a style along with the genre that you've chosen. So it doesn't automatically pick the genre for you. I mean, it picks the tempo for you. It's going to pick the style for you, but it's not going to automatically pick the genre. You have to actually figure out what genre you're going to be doing, and it'll just do the rest from there. And like I said, it's as consistent as you are. So if you want repeat performance out of this thing for the exact same beats, you have to be right bang on exactly, all right, to get the exact same thing. Otherwise, it will change on you, which I think is kind of a dumb thing. It should have a little bit of plus or minus for human error there, but it kind of doesn't. So you're going to have to deal with that part of it. Now, I still think it's a good 4 out of 5. I mean, for what it is, it's well priced too. It does have a lot of benefits to it, especially the fact that it can learn your stuff. And if you can find beats within this thing for genres that work with the songs that you're trying to do, then great. If you need something more professional and more proper for, say, gigging performance-wise, I would seriously take a look at the Beat Buddy instead. But this is definitely a great learning tool. It will help with your timing. It's definitely going to help you with songs that you've written of your own where you can say, okay, I need to figure out a beat. And then maybe you can find that beat in the Beat Buddy that sounds also a lot better. Because like I said, these are not real, actual drummers programmed into this thing like the Beat Buddy is. So it's not as authentic that way. And like I said, I prefer running this thing off of the mixing board because my amp and everything, all my pedals are going into my amp, and then my amp's line out goes into my mixing console and then out through a set of YSM8 speakers. So I don't even have to use my built-in amplifier speaker unless I want to, you know, which is kind of nice. So if I want to play without recording, I can just hook this into my mixing system and keep it away from the amp altogether, and then run my amp the way I want it, run this the way I need it, and then I'm fine. However, there becomes one problem with that is it's not going to be able to learn anything from me unless I go from my aux output channel to the input of this. Then I can do that, okay? And I'll just have to figure out, you know, where to set that aux level so they can learn. And I think that's the way I'm going to end up having to use this thing, because I don't want to keep sacrificing tonal quality of what I want to be able to play just so I can have this thing going. Now, on clean channels, it's not a huge deal. And definitely not with an acoustic. No problem with the acoustic. Going through, can plug right in, away you go, have fun, enjoy yourself. But like I said, you have to stay consistent if you want repeats of the same beats. So if you find a genre that works, and you've got these knobs balanced where you want for the mix for their levels, and your tempo is good, and you can alter your tempo of your own recorded thing in case it didn't give you enough tempo. Try adding a little bit more, or maybe you need a little bit less, you know, and you can dial things in pretty good, you know, but just be aware of, these are some of the things you're going to run into with this pedal. It's like anything else. Once you master it, you're pretty good. But, you know, I have the belief system that you never master anything, but, you know, you can get pretty darn close. So you can become really awesome with this pedal and do a great job. But I certainly would never even suggest it for live gigging, only because the quality of the sound samples that are built into the pedal are not up to par with, like, a real drummer, for one, in my opinion. So I wouldn't use it for gigging. And the consistency of repeat, you would have to stand there in front of your audience and, you know, program it. Now, one guy had mentioned about doing scatting, okay, for programming something. So let's try something here. See, now that's too slow. way too slow for me. So I would suggest, unless you need to scat for whatever you're doing, don't. Play 2 bars in of your tune, right, just like I just did. Play at least 2 bars so that the pedal gets a really good idea of what's going on. 1 bar I found didn't work very well, and it was definitely not consistent at all. 2 bars is a lot more consistent, that you're going to get the right beat every time. So play at least 2 bars and keep your speed the way it should be, okay, for your tune. And you should be okay for, you know, about 95% of the time. It's not 100% perfect, that's for sure, you know. But I still think it's a great pedal. And for the price, I mean, you can't beat it. I mean, I have seen these still going on Amazon right now for 170 bucks. And I'm like, not a chance. Some Amazon sellers are going to get a wake-up call when they can't sell it, unless they sell it to an idiot. Because right now, these are selling in Canada through retail outlets for like 70 bucks. You know, even Long McQuaid, I'm going to be getting this as a used pedal for 60. You know, and because it's been, I guess, out on rent before or whatever. But you know, and I'm renting it currently, and to try it out. And you know, I think, you know, for the 60 bucks, I think I'm going to still be in on it, but I am definitely going to be running this through my mixing board, not through my guitar amp, just because to me, for some of the sounds and tones I need and output levels, I do not want to have to sacrifice my tone quality and sound just so I can get a beat going with this. So I can avoid all that by hooking this into my mixing board, going through my aux out, input into the pedal. My amp feeds into my mixer anyways, no matter what, so it can go in and it can shoot itself into the pedal, and I can do it that way, which I will show you that hookup on another video I will have, where the Trio band creator is hooked into a mixing board. So anyways, like I said, I still say it's, you know, good, easy, solid 4 out of 5. I'm considerably happy with it. You know, I would say I'm about 90% happy, you know, in that area. I'm not 100% thrilled, but, you know, hey, 90 is better than 100, you know, and I still think it's a great buy, and it definitely is a useful tool, and it is going to help me out with a lot of the stuff that I write of my own, and my Beat Buddy takes over for everything else. So, hey, it's a win-win no matter what. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one, guys.